The spokesman said, "In light of the latest guidance on coronavirus, we will not formally be convening negotiating work strands tomorrow in the way we did in the previous round. We expect to share a draft FTA alongside the draft legal texts of a number of the standalone agreements in the near future still, as planned. Both sides remain fully committed to the negotiations and we remain in regular contact with the European Commission to consider alternative ways to continue discussions, including looking at the possibility of video conferencing or conference calls, and exploring flexibility in the structure for the coming weeks." The transition period ends on December 31, 2020. This is enshrined in UK law. The Labour leader, who is 70, has been urging Boris Johnson to do more to protect the public during the pandemic. On Wednesday, Mr. Corbyn's spokesman said there had been slightly contradictory advice from government ministers about what over 70s were being asked to do. The spokesman added that Mr. Corbyn would still be going to work in Parliament. He said, he will be continuing his duties and responsibilities. Mr. Johnson announced new measures on Monday that said all people over the age of 70 should self-isolate at home for the foreseeable future. The move is believed to help stop the spread of the virus and those in high-risk groups such as the elderly. On Wednesday, many MPs stayed away from Prime Minister's questions to make sure maximum safety was achieved, according to the Speaker Sir Lindsay Hoyle. But Mr. Corbyn was still present in the Commons, despite the risk to himself. He demanded that the government do more to protect those who are vulnerable in society. He said, "Only collective public action led by the government can protect our people and our society, and that collective action must not allow the burden to fall on those who lack the resources to cope, as happened after the financial crash." He added that Mr. Johnson should understand that balancing action will be needed to protect the most insecure and vulnerable. Mr. Corbyn continued, "The health of us all depends on the health of our most vulnerable." Sir Lindsay opened PMQs by explaining that a precautionary measure had been put in place for less MPs in the Commons. Around 100 MPs were seated in the Commons with huge gaps between each MP. Whips from both the Tories and the Labour Party encouraged MPs to stay away if they were not listed on the order paper to ask a question. Former Prime Minister Theresa May was among those who attended and asked a question. The distance between each MP made the atmosphere in the Commons more reserved. Sir Lindsay said, "Those watching our proceedings will have noticed that our attendance today is significantly below the normal numbers. I have discussed with the usual channels ways in which we can limit the numbers of people crowded together to ensure maximum safety. We are all doing our best to keep Parliament sitting and to follow Public Health England and guidance."